everyone, it's Liz Holloway at Liz Holloway Design and welcome to my YouTube tutorial. Here is a recessed box that I just created using the cherry on top designer paper, and basically it is going to show you how to create the box, and it's got cards inside. Latches back with a magnetic button, and then when you open up the front cover, you got 3x3 cards and matching coordinating envelopes to go with it. So I'm going to show you from the start to the end, and this will be a long tutorial, so be patient and we'll go along as we. So let's get started. I'm only going to show you the making of the box, and you can complete it with whatever embellishments or designs that you would like to have. Okay, so in our designer paper we have this thick cardstock. It's a 12 by 12, and it's our designer paper backing sheet. It's a thicker cardstock, and so what I've done was I cut this to 2 5 by 5, and I'm using the designer papers from the cherry on top, and it's a 6 by 6, and it's gorgeous paper that I really like. And so I thought, okay, now that I have created a kind of a feminine box, I'm going to try to create a masculine box. So I've already prepared all my pieces for this tutorial, and so this is a 5 by 5 cardstock, and I already lined it with my designer paper. Okay, so basically you're going to use whatever side you want, and then you're going to place your thick cardstock right on top of the designer paper. Then what I've done was I already pre-cut the angle, like so, and this is because when you're folding it down, you want to make sure that you don't have the bulk on the corner, and leaving about a scissors thickness from the corner to the edge. I'm using my good score tape, just so that the video goes a lot faster rather than having glue or waiting for the glue to dry. And so taking your stylus, and what you're going to do is you're going to run your stylus along the edge, the 4 edges, okay, like so, and you're going to bend the 4 sides. So now I'm removing my tape. And then taking my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish the edges. This will give you a nice flat surface. And I've already done so on the other side. Now you're going to take one of your cover, take your these square framelits, and I'm using number 6 starting from the middle, and you count 6 outwards. And so what I've done was just place this right here, right on center, and then I marked the 4 corners with a pencil mark. You're going to need your metal ruler and an X-Acto knife, and so what I'm doing is taking from the corner to corner and cutting it diagonally. I guess I should have put my mat on the bottom. And then cut it on the other side, the opposite corners as well. Okay, and then what you're going to do is then take your number 5 square framelits, your number 3 square framelits, and align the corners up. Use your stylus, and on the inside, and score the 4 sides. Okay, and then you do the same thing for your other frame. As you can see, I am going over a couple strokes or going back and forth because the card is actually 2 layers thick, and so I want to make sure that I got the creases well. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this, fold this down, and then valley fold back, mountain fold, and valley fold all four sides. And you want to crease these well, so take your foam folder and crease your sides. I don't recommend using chipboard because it's a little bit harder to cut your pieces, but you can use it. Okay. So place this down, and then go ahead and line up your middle piece. And tape this down so that the 2 doesn't move. The 2 frames don't move. So I'm going to cut both pieces. Keep this piece, and I'm going to cut another number 5 piece. And this piece you're going to need as well. So then you're going to bring this piece back, and you're going to add glue or tape. In my case, I'm going to use tape just to make sure that I don't have to wait for the glue to dry. And adding this piece right on top. And if you're not unsure, just kind of place your cordon cardstock in. Flip it the other way. Placing this right on top. And basically the 4 sides, you want it flush right to the edge of the square. And then this piece here is going to be accented on. And I'm not going to worry about that it's not fitting properly, just because when you are bending the cardstock over, you want, it's going to leave about 1/8 of an inch. And having it this way, it looks beautiful just with the recess in there. So go ahead and add your going to carefully line this up. Just like so. I'm going to set this aside. So then, for your bottom piece of the box, going to start off with the side pieces, and you'll have two 6 inches, and both of them are scored at 1/2 inch, and then two 5-inch pieces. And the measurements are on my blog, so I will link it down below of the YouTube. Okay, and then you're going to take this, you're going to remove the protective sheet, and then add one of the 5-inch piece long, and then you're going to make sure that it's just lined up to the score line. Okay, and then this is my second 6-inch piece. And again, line it up to the score line. And the 5-inch. Crease them all well. And at the same time, you want to make sure that you've got them all lined up straight, because the second piece is going to go just like so. Okay, it's going to go like that. But I'm not going to attach it yet, because what I want to do now is add my anchor piece. Now this is cut at 1 inch by 10, and I'll show you how I created this using the envelope punch, and this will be my construction part. Okay, so basically it's 1 inch, and then I scored it down 1/2 inch, and then scored this at 5 inch. And then what I did was also fold this in half. Take the scoreboard, the envelope board, and where the 1/2 inch score line is, you're going to put that in the middle, and you can also tell that the edge of it will line up to the 5-inch line. Punch down, punch down, on one end, punch down. Adding score tape on. And I'm adding score tape right to the right butted up to the score line. I'm going to set this aside. Now, I ran out of taupe cardstock, so I'm using the accent designer paper from the cherry on top. Though it is a 6x6 size, I cut it down to 2 1/4 by 6 4 times and carefully laid the pieces down, aligning the bottom and the side edges. Once the pieces are down, turn the piece over and notch a triangle where the folds are, and then taking the stylus to crease the edge to create a clean line. The Then fold in the tabs and then burnish the edges with the bone folder. Add double-sided tape to the edge and connect the ends together, creating a square box. Before removing your double-sided tape and adding the bottom, you want to make sure that the corners are at right angle and that your corners don't have any bulges. If you do, just like I have here, just clean it up and ensure that the angles are flushed, and then carefully align the bottom. Once this is lined up, then you can turn it over and use your bone folder to secure the bottom into place. So the next step is to add the front flap, and to create this you're going to cut a piece of 6 7/8 by 5 inches and score the one side at 1 3/4 inch. Then the next thing is that you're going to find the middle of your flap, so that I took it and marked it at 2.5 inches going down, and then 1 inch to the left to give my center mark, and this is where I'm going to add a magnet button using the glue dot. And then what you're going to do is take your double-sided tape and add tape all the way around, including the 2 sides of the score line. This will ensure that your designer paper will be stuck into place. Now, I know that the designer paper is only a 6 by 6, which is not long enough to cover the side piece. So here is my solution. What you're going to do is you're going to take your front flap and decide which side you want first, and then tape it to the back side of your designer paper. You want to leave about a 1/2 inch parameters around all 3 sides. And then the next thing is that you're going to add double-sided tape on the fold line, close to the fold line, and then the accent designer paper. Trim and notch your designer paper, and then take your stylus to crease the folds and burnish the edges with your bone folder. This time I'm not going to use glue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it set in place. Now, you don't need to add double-sided tape, as there's going to be another piece that will cover over top to cover the back side of the flap. To cover the inside of the cover, you're going to cut a 4 3/4 by 6 inch piece of designer paper, any coordinating designer paper, and then add double-sided tape to all 3 sides, and then carefully align the piece back and into place. And then what you're going to do is where the score line is, refold the piece again to train the cover up. So before you go ahead and secure that piece in, make sure that your cover is lining up with your box, and then go ahead and add double-sided tape around the surrounding of the side. Now, I added an extra piece of tape right in the middle just to give it for security measure, and you don't have to, but I do it anyways just to make sure that my box, the side flat pieces, is secured into place. With the latch, what you're going to do is then take your second magnet button and place it on top of the front cover to make sure that the magnets are attracting each other before adding it to the latch. And once you have the magnet, I've marked the latch on center to tell me where the magnet button is going to be sitting, and then what I did was then attach it with a glue dot, and then a second latch over top to cover the magnet button. And then what I did was then set this aside to let it dry before adding it to the box. So where the straight edge is, I have already scored at 1/2 inch and then placing double-sided tape on both sides of the latch, and then just making sure which side I'm actually going to secure it down first. And then what I'm doing is I'm letting the latch fall right into place to make sure that the magnets are attracting, and then placing the latch right onto the edge and then opening up the latch again. So before you actually set it back into place, make sure that your score line is right on the edge of the box, and then attaching the latch back on. So then once you're done, go ahead and add double-sided tape on the back side of the recessed part, and then carefully lay that piece right down onto the top. So here is my finished box. I'm using the sheltering tree and the thank you stamp set, and inside the coordinating cards are the same cards as you can see in the front. Now, so give me a thumbs up if you like it and if I have inspired you. And what you can do is head on over to my blog at lizhollowaydesign.blogspot.ca for more inspiration. A list of supplies can be found at my blog, and I'll put a link at the bottom of my YouTube. Thanks for stopping by. Bye for now.